here we go. 6th game of this amazing series so far between Present and Kinugawa, and we're seeing some more Koraidon Lunala, almost exactly the team that we just saw on the Japanese side, so the team that Arubega just used against me. Some small changes. We have a covered cloak on Brute Bonnet, for example, but yeah, other than that, very, very similar to what he was just using, and also similar to what I just was using. And then on the other side, Kinugawa, also a player who's known for switching things up every now and then, a player who is very creative and does really well with this. Someone who's basically qualifying for Japan Nationals every year. Some of their best finishes are a top 16 at EYC in 2016. Then I think they top cut or came very close to it. They went, I think, 8-3 at Worlds last year with a Groudon team. Groudon Iron Jugulis, when no one was considering that. So yeah, Kinugawa, very, very strong player. With the Zacian Koraidon, not really a core that I've seen so far at all in this regulation. And I will pull up the team sheets. So I have a little bit more info of what's going on, but it looks like, ooh, we got some quick attack Zacian with Terra Normal. Okay. Maybe attack against Calyrex, but also, of course, you can boost your quick attack with Terra Normal. And then we also have a Sword Stance Loaded Dice Koraidon. Yeah, that sounds fun. Another Brute Bonnet, another Sash Fluttermane, similar to what also we have over on Presence team. And yeah, we're seeing Brute Bonnet right away and the Fluttermane right away. So Koraidon, Brute Bonnet, yeah, pretty nasty lead, I would say, because yeah, Koraidon packs so much offensive power, and then Brute Bonnet just supports it really nicely with Spore, with Rage Powder. You got Sucker Punch for priority. And you're, of course, also getting that defense boost there right off the bat. However, just looking in this position, I feel like Fluttermane and Raging Bolt, yeah, that's a fine way to answer Koraidon. The Fluttermane is kind of safe with the Focus Sash. This time actually has Dazzling Gleam. Well, maybe. We'll see about that. And then it's Life Orb, Raging Bolt as well, which could do a ton of damage, of course, with Thunderclap, for example, or just Draco Meteor. So right away, I feel like with the Raging Bolt out there in the sun with Life Orb is a little bit dangerous for Raheem. So he's probably considering, okay, how to best play around that. And yeah, he's getting a little low on time. In the end, deciding to lock in there with a Sucker Punch against Fluttermane makes sense, I would say, just to break the Focus Sash and get a KO that way. But you're definitely risking losing him on this turn to any combination of Draco Meteor plus one more attack. And yeah, this Brute Bonnet also might just be going down, so some like last ditch effort already on turn 1 to just go out with a Sucker Punch. But it looks like maybe Kinugawa has different plans, actually terrestrializing into Electric. Yeah, boosting up the power of Thunderbolt or Thunderclap, maybe expecting... Oh no, it's the Thunderclap right away. Into Koraidon, wow, almost the one-hit KO. But Koraidon hangs in there with just 3 HP. But Fluttermane should easily pick up the KO now on Koraidon if it decides to target it there. But no, it's actually going into the Brute Bonnet. No KO though, and close combat. One shot on Raging Bolt. So, wow, as the dust settles, 2 terrestrializations out of the picture. Raging Bolt going down. Koraidon going down to the Life Orb recoil. Fluttermane taking a lot of damage. Brute Bonnet taking a lot of damage. That was an explosive turn 1 here in this must-win game for Kinugawa. And I'm not really sure who this favors more. I mean, Terra Electric, Thunderclap into Koraidon. Yeah, he was so sure that this Fluttermane was exerting, of course, a lot of pressure with Fairy-type moves into Koraidon, forces out the Terra, and then Kinugawa uses that pressure that he has to make a prediction and go for Thunderclap. Of course, yeah, that could have been a Rage Powder, that could have been just like a Protect Spore play. All of that would have worked for Present, but yeah, instead, yeah, he can be happy that this was a Moonblast coming out from his opponent and not Dazzling Gleam, because that would have been disastrous. Koraidon would have been out Raging Bolt still would have been around, and yeah, with a Brute Bonnet, it doesn't really matter if it's at like 30 HP or like 50 HP. You could have gotten that KO the next turn. So yeah, a little bit fortunate. I'm sure Present is, all things considered, Present can be quite happy with how this worked out. But now the roles are kind of swapped. Now that Kinugawa has lost a non-restricted, he's switching in a restricted. And Present just lost a restricted, now switching in a non-restricted in the Flutter Mane. And we might be in for another round of Flutter Mane speed ties, of course, especially with the Icy Wind, just so dangerous. But let's not forget that Brute Bonnet has Sucker Punch available, so could just straight up knock out Flutter Mane before it gets to move. And yeah, then the question is, do you wanna risk that over on Kinugawa's side? Do you wanna attack with your own Flutter Mane in this spot, or do you want to try and maybe protect this turn and clear the Brute Bonnet? As yeah, Brute Bonnet over on Present side does not have Protect, so it's a Seed Bomb, Sucker Punch, Spore, Rage Powder set. So if it's, yeah, targeted into, then it would just get knocked out. But let's see, this could be big. If this Zacian attacks into Flutter Mane, and it does! What a great play by Present. Getting a free Spore into Zacian. That is, wow, that is incredible. Huge play for the German. And yeah, this could open up the way to victory in this game 1. I thought it was kind of obvious that you would want to go after the Brute Bonnet, but basically Kinugawa was saying, well, if you attack here, I mean, it's so obvious, I can just take it out. So you want to Sucker Punch, right? But by protecting Flutter Mane, I'm saying, okay, you can't, well, you can Sucker Punch my Zacian, but that's not going to do much. So he wanted to have Brute Bonnet sit on the field and kind of do nothing this turn, but Present identifies this perfectly, calls out the Protect from Flutter Mane and the Behemoth Blade perfectly, goes for the Protect Spore, and now he has all the pressure once again. He could go for a Sucker Punch, double up into the Flutter Mane, and I think that's what he did, right? Yes, Sucker Punch, Moonblast, knockout on Koraidon, and a big, big lead for Raheem in this game 1. So, very well played. Using kind of the non-pressure of Brute Bonnet to make a big read. And yeah, it worked out perfectly here. And yeah, now Kinugawa down to their last 2 Pokemon. I mean, Zacian is strong, sure, and you still have Flutter Mane, but it is in KO range for another Sucker Punch. You already terrestrialized the Raging Bolt, so no way to, yeah, bypass any of the damage. In fact, both Flutter Mane and Zacian are Terra Normal, actually. So yeah, not gonna be too impactful in this match, though, as we don't have a Calyrex Shadow Rider over on Raheem's side. Yeah, and that was honestly, that was a big play, and I respect it quite a lot. So Kinugawa with a back against the wall, can he make something happen? I mean, you kind of gotta protect Flutter Mane in this spot, but then, like, even then, you're just waiting for your Zacian to wake up, and Raheem can go for Shadow Ball, Sucker Punch. It's kind of safe. Like, sure, Kinugawa will probably protect Flutter Mane, but like, it's fine. Brute Bonnet doesn't really have anything else that it could do anyway. So yeah, I like this Sucker Punch play. Yeah, both players just kind of like, yeah, you know, yeah, it's fine. Like, you can protect, I can Sucker Punch, nothing happens on that side of the board. But with the critical hit, wow, something happens there. And also the special defense drop. Zacian's still asleep, but that means that potentially another Shadow Ball would be enough to get the KO from this range. So yeah, you can just do the same thing again, just spam through the menu, click the same buttons again, and Sucker Punch and Shadow Ball. And with that, it should be a 1-0 for Present. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. Let's see. Sucker Punch comes out, takes the KO. Flutter Mane goes down. And Shadow Ball should finish off the Zacian as well. And with that, Present takes the 1-0 lead. Only 1 win away from taking home this series for Germany after, yeah, it looked so tough after the first couple of games. Germany was down 0-2, but yeah, big comeback coming through from the boys. And now we're just 1 game away from taking it home. Whew. Well played for sure. I think, yeah, in this, the most flashy play definitely was the Protect and Spore perfectly reading into what Kinugawa was doing. And then I also like the follow-up, though, the follow-up turn where he went for Sucker Punch and Moonblast, kind of saying, you know what, I think you have Koraidon in the back, and yeah, you can decide. Either you switch it in and it's going down, or you stay in an attack and Flutter Mane is going down. So really, really nice play there by Raheem. Getting into a good position, but then not letting, or not giving any way for a comeback to Kinugawa. Instead, just like following it up with very strong moves. And yeah, with that, we're just one win away from taking home the series. So yeah, let's see. I'm getting excited over here. But well, it looked bad early on in the series, but now yeah, let's wait and see. I would say a lot of Koraidons coming out here in the last couple of games that we've seen. So yeah, definitely seems like players have adapted this Life Orb Koraidon that Wolf brought to win EYC. And looks like that's a trend that is also carrying on in the new regulation. Looks like Ursaluna might make an appearance here. I kind of wonder if Brute Bonnet might be a pick for Kinugawa, just because of like how it can benefit from the sun. It can set up, or it can like buy opportunities, just like we saw Raheem use Brute Bonnet to put things to Spore. Kinugawa could do the same thing, of course, if he finds an opening to do that. But yeah, game 2, Present versus Kinugawa. Let's get into it. All right. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to like switch things up after a game like that, where like your opponent might want to go for the same thing. Like Kinugawa might be thinking, you know what, like if I got the turn 1 like a little bit differently, if I went for Dazzling Gleam, for example, then I just win on the spot, probably, or like it's really good for me at least. So I like the fact that Present is saying, you know what, I won the game, but yeah, that was actually quite scary to go up against this Raging Bolt and Flutter Mane lead. So instead, switching things up with a Lunala and Brute Bonnet lead. And yeah, I like it. I like the switch up. I like the options. You could go for Trick Room even if you expect your opponent to bring the same mons, because yeah, if this is Zacian and Koraidon in the back, then of course Trick Room would be great, but it's just another Sucker Punch for now. Breaking Sash on Flutter Mane this time. Flutter Mane has learned from the previous game a little bit. Of course, different type of setup, but wants to get rid of that Brute Bonnet right away. And Dazzling Gleam, Draco Meteor gets the knockout, but at what cost? And I don't think it's that bad for Present. We got some damage on the Flutter Mane, and we get to set up Trick Room. And now we already know Ursaluna is waiting in the back. And of course, Ursaluna is the Pokemon that you want to bring in here. You do not want to bring in your Flutter Mane here. Interestingly enough, Flutter Mane as the last and not Koraidon, though, for Present. So let's keep an eye out on that to see what happens when Trick Room is over. But under Trick Room, Present now wants to maneuver with Lunala and Ursaluna, and I think he definitely has an opening here, because yeah, you can go for like the most obvious kind of like Moonguy's Beam, knock out the knock out the Flutter Mane, and then Headlong Rush, knock out the Raging Bolt. But you have to consider there is a threat of Terra Normal on the Flutter Mane, so maybe do you want to go for Meteor Beam instead? There also could be some sort of switch out. The Raging Bolt could protect. It could switch out into Brute Bonnet, I guess. Like, that would be the Pokemon that could take this attack best, or maybe Rillaboom, but they didn't come to the previous game. So if Kinugawa brought the same Pokemon like in the previous game, I think Present has a great spot here. -2 Thunderclap. This is just Kinugawa saying, you know what, like I'm probably going down here, but that's fine. Yeah, it does some chip damage, but now Flame Orb will activate on Ursaluna. There's still 3 turns left of Trick Room. Lunala, I think, went for Meteor Beam. No, okay, it didn't. It went for Moonguy's Beam. Okay, almost getting the +1 boost though, but That now means that it can still go for Meteor Beam the next turn to avoid potential, like, mind games with Terra Normal. And whatever comes in here, unless... So this kind of has to be, like, one of the grass types. If this is either Zacian or Koraidon, I'm getting a little bit worried for my friend Kinugawa here. Even though, of course, I want Present to win. But, yeah, this Ursaluna under Trick Room is a huge threat. And there doesn't seem to be an immediate answer. He's thinking about what to switch in. Yeah, Zacian will definitely go down to... I guess maybe if you Terra, can Zacian take Headlong Rush? Maybe if it's like bulky. But let's see. What is it? Okay, Zacian comes in. Yeah, maybe that's the way. Maybe you can Terra Normal Zacian, Terra Zacian to normal and then take the attack that way. But you could also... Oh, he's thinking about Wide Guard Earthquake, I guess. Yeah, I think Zacian has to Terra Normal here. So you could also Meteor Beam the Zacian. Or you're like... Or you can also think that, you know what, maybe Headlong Rush just KOs the Terra Normal Zacian as well. I'm not too familiar with the cog, to be honest. I would assume that it depends on the bulk of Zacian. He's thinking about it. Okay, he's going for Moongeist Beam. Now, okay. Moongeist Beam, that was fine. Let's see what the last Pokemon is. If this is Koraidon, we're happy. Okay, I think we're happy about this. Koraidon will take Moongeist Beam, but then the question is, I think this gotta be Terra Normal on the Zacian. Yeah, I think this is Kinugawa going for it. Yep. Okay, we saw this coming, but now the question is, how much does Headlong Rush do to Terra Normalization? I mean, yeah, you gotta assume that it KOs, right? That it doesn't KO. Okay, wow, barely. Yeah, I misspoke. You gotta assume that it doesn't KO. Just barely making it. And now Moongeist Beam will go into Koraidon, and both of these mons make it through the turn. It didn't look like that, but this will KO the Ursaluna, no problem, after the defense drops. So now we're in a situation where we've got Fluttermane and Trick Room. That's not that good. We still have Focus Sash though, and we've got Lunala. Yeah, I was almost thinking about Meteor Beam and Headlong Rush into Zacian, but it could have protected, so there was no way to guarantee to play out of this. But now we have 2 turns left of Trick Room. If Present finds the right way to play this, he can still win, but the issue is that Lunala cannot protect, and there is a potential of like Flare Blitz and Behemoth Blade to knock it out. So he's thinking about Terra Water. So you have to, basically what you have to do is you have to KO 1 with Lunala and then hope that you can make it through the turn with Lunala, and then you take 2 KOs potentially this turn. So let's see what happens. Terra Water, good Terra to have in this particular situation because it resists both Behemoth Blade and Flare Blitz. But of course, Kinugawa could read that and go for Play Rough, or go for Close Combat, or sorry, Scale Shot and Collision Course. It actually doesn't have Flare Blitz. Sorry, that's my bad. But that's good because we are getting rid of Koraidon. Yep. Yeah, this was a loaded dice. Collision Course, Scale Shot, Sword Stance protect Koraidon, so no fire move. And yeah, we got the 50-50 kind of right, I would say. If we attacked into Zacian, that would have been much more problematic. But now Fluttermane comes back out, and now we both have like shown their cards. Both have shown their Terra. It's the last turn of Trick Room. If we hit this Meteor Beam into Zacian, we're probably winning. So I'm thinking Meteor Beam the Zacian and Icy Wind, or I guess Shadow Ball. But there could be If there is Protect and Icy Wind... do you want to play for the Flutter Mane speed high? Ooh. Okay, Zacian goes for the Protect. That's perfect, because I think we targeted the Flutter Mane. Oh, they double Protect, okay. They get the double Protect with Zacian. But that was a... well, maybe it wasn't risky, because, yeah, Flutter Mane has the Focus Sash still, so even if
And his name is
Zacian...
C.
Thank you. Even if Zacian went for Play Rough Knockout on Lunala there, then we still would have a Sash Flutter Mane. But then, actually, can you stall out Sun or Sun over? Because then you would need to like Icy Wind and Shadow Ball to win that way. But anyway, that didn't happen. Instead, it's still a 2v2. Trick Room is over though, so now which of the Flutter Mane is gonna move first? Big speed tie here at the end of game 2. Oh, yeah, but we can wide guard around the Shadow Ball. We can wide guard around the Icy Wind potentially. Oh, Quick Attack. Okay. Terra Normal Quick Attack. Oh, this is a... Oh, it's Dazzling Gleam. It's Dazzling Gleam. And he called it and blocks it with wide guard. Flutter Mane is protected by wide guard. Can go for Moonblast and will dog out Zacian. And it's a 2v1. And Flutter Mane still has the Focus Sash intact. I think this is over. I think Raheem's got it. I think we've got it. Yeah. You just Moonblast and... or Shadow Ball and Moonguy's Beam. And there it is. Winning the speed high and winning the game, winning the set, winning the series. Present does it 2-0 against Kinugawa. And with that, Germany advancing to 4-2, being down 0-2, but then winning 4 straight sets. Yeah, amazing games so far for sure. And yeah, Raheem Present takes down Kinugawa in 2 games. Good games to Team Japan, and yeah, with that, the series is already decided, but tomorrow there will be one last battle. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you very much for all the support these videos have been getting. It's been a lot of fun to upload again after many years, and yeah, I hope you stick around for the 7th and final game tomorrow, and then I hope you also tune into the Utrecht Special Championships that will happen this weekend. I will be there as a commentator, so yeah, looking forward to seeing what's going on in the first major in Europe in this new Regulation I.